All right, PK, it is time for the question of the morning. Hot takes or toast? The Utah Jazz waive KJ Martin. You surprised? Good move? What's behind it? It does feel like there's more players than minutes, and this suggests maybe that the draft picks are going to get played and they're going to find out what they have. And I don't want to say that they're going to play the young guys because KJ Martin is only 24 years old. But at the same time, he's been in the league longer. He's more of a known quantity. And I guess that is why he's out there looking for another team now. I would think the prospect of sitting on the bench, watching the young guys play, and maybe not really being able to compete for it because they want to see what they have, you can see where an agent, a GM, a coach, and a player, you can see where that would lead to some hard conversations that probably led to this.
Yeah, but then what do you do with Anderson, Love, and Niang?
I suspect they're going to play those guys and that they will be here. But, if you'd asked me about KJ Martin 2 days ago, I would have said the same thing.
You would have?
Yeah, I didn't.
That would have been hard honestly to know that he was even on the team.
I wouldn't have thought that they were going to waive him.
Well, they save, I think salary cap-wise, several million, up to $10 million maybe.
Yeah. They do, that's, but they also, we were talking with Locke about how they spent money in the marketing deal because you got to get to the floor. You've got to spend, I think Locke said it was 90% of the cap.
Well, it's not to save money. It's to maybe use the money for other.
Somebody else.
Yeah.
Something else you want to add to the team.
And what do they have there? I really don't need to see Kyle Anderson play 1 minute for the Jazz. Not one. Nothing against him. He's had a really fine career.
He's 32 years old,
yeah.
And, it wouldn't surprise any of us, teams are going to have injuries, and somebody's going to need a guy who can come in and play and be a veteran and move the ball and hit the open shots and do that. He's not a superstar, obviously, but he can play, and he can help you, especially – there's always teams, and the rosters change so much. But last year we were talking about the Warriors, the Suns, and the Denver Nuggets. They all had great starting groups, but they needed some vets off the bench. Now, Denver in the offseason seems to have addressed that. Phoenix, meanwhile, is tearing everything down. But we're going to see those teams again, especially once injuries and attrition hit. So, maybe he's just a week or two away from being moved himself. Who knows? I get your point. How many minutes are those three guys going to play? And how many minutes are they going to take away from Hendricks or Filipowski or whoever?
I want to see Ace Bailey and Flipper play until they beg Hardy to take them out because they're so gassed. And Hendricks, I think, needs to be brought along. If he hadn't had the leg injury and he had in his season that he showed well last year. Now, none of that happened, so we're starting, in a sense, from scratch from that point of view. But then bring him along a little slower to see where he's at physically because of his situation. But the other two guys,
If Ace Bailey's playing 35 minutes a night, we can all stand up and applaud.
And I want to see Flipper. I want to see these guys go out there and play until they're gassed or they've shown you're not ready for this. You just can't, you can't force it if it's not there. But I want them at the start to play as much because who cares if you're losing games? And I don't buy that crap. I get so sick of the cliches that, oh, man, you got to be careful because you don't want to ruin his confidence and then he'll be shot for the rest of his life. If that's the case, then he's mentally weak anyway. Freaking Kobe shot air balls. Did it ruin his confidence? No. Why not have the tough situations now? If I hear anybody say that, I am going to pitch a fit, and I'm going to get right in their face, and I'm going to say, don't ever say that again. Do you understand me?
Your fit pitching ability is not doubted. So what's the difference between that and you saying with Ace Bailey, well, you can't force feed it if it's not there? Isn't that a different way of saying the same thing?
But it's going to be there. Because my margin of not being there is like Grand Canyon wide. I'm saying if it's the Cody Williams last year, where it was embarrassing.
Well, what we really want is answers. And if the answer is, okay, you're overmatched, you're not there yet, now play somebody else. But what we really want is answers.
Bailey might be overmatched, but so what? He's the highest pick you've had in years, the highest pick that this group of leadership has had, and everybody thought he should have been higher. And so did you get fortunate? Yeah. You know, several years ago, 20-plus years ago, they got fortunate and then rode that for 20 years. And maybe that's the same thing here. You know, I don't know. But I want to find out, and I want this kid to play as much as possible now. What's the point of having the 25-26 season if, he's struggling a little bit and his confidence is wavering? Find out what type of intestinal fortitude he has. Nothing is going to be handed to you in this league. And if you have a confidence issue, then there's no way a coach is going to be able to instill confidence. I don't buy that. You can compliment the guy all you want. And if the guy still goes out there and doesn't do it, did Del Harris give Kobe Bryant confidence? No. Who gave it to him? Himself.
There are ways of bringing guys along. For the guys who aren't quite there yet, they can make sure they get their bench minutes against the bench guys on the other team who aren't quite as good. Keep them away from getting bludgeoned by star players. They can still bring them along and get playing time.
Let them get bludgeoned. So what? That you're feeding right into the cliches that we know we're going to hear.
No.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Let them play.
Somebody's got to play the bench. Somebody's got to play the bench minutes. Somebody's got to play the starter minutes.
Can you repeat that? I didn't understand that. Take it slower.
Which 8 guys do you want to play at the same time? Somebody's got to sit, PK. This guy who isn't performing as well, it could be that guy. Plus, you don't want to reward guys, don't you? Want to challenge them? Hey, you got to earn these minutes. You got to play better. You got to improve. I mean, that was thinking about Kobe shooting the air balls. He knew he had to improve.
Right.
And he did. So it made the decision.
So you're going to have him improve by sitting on the bench. It makes no sense.
Well, all 8 guys, all 9 draft picks, can't play at the same time.
I mentioned 2 guys. You're the ones who mentioned 8, 9 guys. I've only said 2 guys here. That's it.
You got
3 possible with Hendricks.
Oh, really? And the rest of them, you don't have the curiosity?
No, do what
over?
you're saying. But I want to see these 2. Apparently, I didn't make myself clear. I want to see these 2 play until their tongues are hanging out. I want to find out, how good are you? And I don't care if it's a tough situation and you're going up against somebody who's bigger, stronger, tougher, and older. I don't care. So what? I'm done babying people. Where does that get you? Forget that. Where does that get you? No. I want these 2 guys to see what we have here. I mentioned those 2. You can do whatever the crap you want with the rest of them. I don't care. I want to see these 2 guys being run out there as much as possible. That's my point. Somehow you got to bench guys and 8 guys, and I don't know how you got there, but you did. I don't care. Do whatever you want.
I didn't know you'd given up as much on the other guys. I given up.
Well, I only mentioned those 2.
Well, okay. But
and then with Hendricks, because of his injury situation and where he's at, I don't have any idea where he's at. Right. You know what I mean?
No, I do. If he's on some kind of minutes count, a pitch count type of thing, I guess we'd get that. They may not. I don't know. We'll see what they say about him. That could limit him as far as playing back-to-backs or playing big minutes or whatever. That wouldn't surprise me if they brought him along slowly in that regard.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, we're still going to judge him in, whatever 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes they okay him for.
Right. Well, I'm going to judge him accordingly, and we all are. If you don't have that this year, then turn off the TV, turn off the radio, and don't pay attention. But I want to pay attention because I'm looking for angles. I'm looking for stuff that can bring some form of optimism here. Because if you're just going to go by record, then it could be viewed as a dire situation. But I think you have to go beyond that, and you have to look inside the team and what is the objective? What are they trying to accomplish here by doing this, right? And so that's where I'm at, to see the development. And the 2 guys I want to see get the most opportunity to develop are Bailey and Filipowski, unless they just absolutely can't handle it whatsoever. But I don't anticipate that because Kyle is going into his 3rd year. So come on now. I mean, you're overmatched or whatever. I mean, what level of player is this young man, right? I mean, he lit it up in the Summer League. I got that. That's not the be-all, end-all. But Donovan Mitchell lit it up in the Summer League, and he's pretty good. And he's a perpetual all-star. He's not the first-team All-NBA, but he still is a very good player. Is there a chance, outside chance, that Filipowski could develop into that? Well, I want to give it a shot. See what he's got. And Bailey, gosh, I spent all winter last year at 4 o'clock in the afternoon watching Rutgers basketball. Yes. True story.
No, I know. There were 3 or 4 college teams we watched last year that we never watch.
Yeah. Right. I was calling up my cousins back east. Hey, you going to the game, man? What'd you think? Obviously, because he went to Rutgers here, and he's a tantalizing prospect.
You tantalized by any of the other guys? Sensabaugh, Collier, Cody Williams. Is he going to be better year 2? He's had a whole year to add weight and grow and all that kind of stuff. He's in an age where he ought to be doing that anyway.
He should be, yeah, for sure. You know, I'm a big body language guy and just the way you handle yourself. And I want to see him, how he looks when he's just out there. What level of confidence? Because I don't think that Hardy you can sort of give him confidence, but ultimately it has to come from the individual. If the individual doesn't believe in himself, I can have all the psychologists, and we can get Riley Jensen on if we wanted to talk about all these things, and ultimately the individual has to decide, he or she, when it comes in life, but also comes in an athletic standpoint, can I do this, man? Now, I've been browbeat. I was 4th option in Colorado. I mean, I was way down the pecking order, and I was injured most of the time, so that was a wasted year. And this past season in the NBA, that was a wasted year. What am I going to do here? Where am I going? Where am I going with this? And what am I going to do about it? Not what Will Hardy is going to do about it. Not what his brother is going to do about it. I could argue that his brother could have a bigger influence than anybody who's ever received a dime on the Jazz payroll. And so what is he going to do? How is he going to approach it? How is he going to look? Now, I don't think he's going to be Scottie Pippen or anything like that in his second year. Maybe, probably never. I get that. But how do you just look? What is your physical appearance when you step out on the floor? That's what I want to see.
You are not alone there, because that's a pretty good draft pick. I mean, it's not a top 5 pick, but you don't get to draft in the top 10 that often either. And there's plenty of good players who are picked in that range.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
What do they get?
Yeah, show me something, man.
Something,
and just show me. I don't be hanging your head if you miss a shot or two. I guarantee you're going to miss a shot or two. You know what I mean? Just tell yourself, I belong here, man. This is what I do. This is what I've done my whole life. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm going to be doing for the next 10 years, maybe longer. And that's where I'm at. This is my job. And I got here because people thought that I should be here. Jerry Colangelo, right? Phoenix guy all the way through. Interviewed him a million times. He loved to tell you how great he was. He told me every time I interviewed him. Right? One time he called me when I was at my parents' house. Nobody had cell phones back then. And, boy, my parents were really impressed because they answered the phone. Yeah. Who's calling? Oh, this is Jerry Colangelo. and he said that the Suns had just barely started, so we're going way back, 40 years or whatever, 50 years. And he's 28 years old, and I think he's working for the Bulls. And they fly him out, right? It's in January to be the GM. He's thinking, oh, my gosh, this is awesome, right? And they ask him, why do you think that you should have this job? And he turned around and he said right back at him, he's 28 years old. He said, well, you think I should have this job. That's why you paid for me to come out here and interview with you.
That's the kind of stuff you love.
Yeah.
You love that stuff. It's 28-year-old just popping off right at him.
Right.
Don't ask me your stupid questions. You should already know the answer to them.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're the ones who thought that you brought me out here.
That's a good answer.
Right. And obviously he's a legend there. He's the godfather of the Suns, and he always will be. He'll never not be. And he's in his 80s now. But, yeah, he's held in such high regard. And then the other thing I want to see your prophecy that you gave 10 years ago that Yusuf Nurkic is really a good NBA player, because I haven't seen it yet.
That's all over. Ever since he got hurt, his numbers he's had a couple big injuries, and he's He's just
could have been, man. He could have been Greg Oden.
He was a solid big.
Oh, he was. But if he hadn't been injured, I don't even know if Jokic is even in the league.
Oh, please. I think that I'm a little surprised you haven't mentioned Bryce Sensabaugh in all of this. And maybe you rank him third and you just went to the first two and you haven't gone down the list. But that's a guy who started shooting the ball a lot better at a time when shooting's at a premium, and obviously that's what they give you the point. That's why they give you points. You got to be able to shoot it. But you can't just be a shooter. He got a lot better shooting last year, but are his rebound numbers ever going to move? The assists ever going to move? And he doesn't have to be a defensive stopper, lockdown guy, but you can't have people going at you all the time either. That's a little embarrassing.
I don't know what to think of him. I'm not wasting any time thinking of him because I don't know what Hardy sees in him, because he'd give him 25 minutes, he'd go for 18 points, and the next game he'd give him 12 minutes, 13 minutes. And so they got to figure that out.
I think all of that is about being a well-rounded player.
Okay, and how's he changed?
He's living for the FGAs.
Well, then you are who you are. And what difference is that going to make for his game? What do you expect to see that you haven't seen?
Well, if he'll get better at anything other than shooting. Because you're right. I mean, Hardy the minutes were all over the place, and so there's other stuff you got to do. Are you good at the rest of the game? Or are you just out there living for the FGAs?
I don't know. Ainge once told me that it was all about the
FGAs. That's why he's on the roster, because Danny thinks.
Of course, he was joking when he said that.
He was, but there was a point behind it.
FGAs, baby, FGAs. I still remember it.
All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. Coming up, got to talk a little football. A Roy High guy, a Corner Canyon Charger, getting his shot in the NFL. Jackson Dart next. Stay with us.